G'day, guys, and welcome to episode 19 of the Mindful Men podcast. My name is Simon Rinnie, and I'm the man behind Mindful Men. In today's episode, I wanted to talk to you about practicing gratitude. It's something that I've been trying in various forms over the past year, and I've made a little breakthrough with it recently that I wanted to share with you today. Now, for some of you, practicing gratitude is a new concept. You might have seen something about gratitude on your social media feed, but kept scrolling. Or it might have come up in a podcast that your missus is listening to. For others, this isn't a new concept at all. If you've ever been to a psychologist, counselor, or mental health social worker, they have probably asked you to keep a gratitude journal or diary. Or you might just do it because you find it gives you time to reflect. Wherever you are in your gratitude journey, it's a great time to be talking about it. Why? Well, the last few years have been pretty shit. COVID has turned our lives upside down. Lockdowns, masks, social distancing, job losses, working from home, studying from home, and don't forget, parenting, schooling, and working at home all at the same time. Now, we're opening up to the world, but COVID is still here. And as we open up, we're suddenly realizing that inflation is escalating, war is ravaging, and the never ending news cycle keeps us hooked with negativity. And all of this has got to a lot of us. Mental health issues are on the rise because we're experiencing more doom and gloom than ever before. So, adding some positivity into our lives is something that a lot of us need. And practicing gratitude is a great and easy tool to use. So, today I'll talk a bit about what practicing gratitude is and why we should do it. I'll describe my breakthrough for you, and then I'll leave you with 5 tips to maximize your practice. So, what is gratitude and why should we practice it? Put simply, gratitude is a positive emotion. It comes about when we think about something in our lives that has given us joy and we feel appreciation for it. And from this, we become grateful. This could be being grateful for that good friend that we have to talk to, or being grateful for access to a doctor when we need them, or even grateful that we have the drive to eat healthy and lose the extra COVID kilos that we've put on. Gratitude looks and feels different for everyone. So, why should we practice it? Well, as I mentioned before, it brings positivity into our lives. It can help us to start to see the glass as being half full instead of half empty. It can help us reprogram our brains to see the good in life. And when we're doing this, we can feel better about ourselves. We can feel better about the people around us. And we can use it to calm our emotions and tap into a growth mindset. It also helps us to overcome adversity because we train our brains to see the light in the dark tunnel. But it's more than that. By practicing gratitude, we start to tune into ourselves. We become mindful of who we are. We become mindful of our values and our beliefs. We become mindful of the people, things, and even the ideas that are important to us and spark joy in our lives. And these are the things that fill our cup and keep us growing. For many boys and men, this isn't something that we do naturally. We don't sit and reflect about things. We tend to just live life as it is by going through the motions every single day. Rarely do we sit and look out the window and feel joy from watching the clouds roll by. Rarely do we appreciate that we have the means to put a roof over our heads. Rarely do we feel gratitude for the people that share this space that we call our home. Sure, we love and like these people, all these things, but how often do we sit back and say to ourselves, I'm grateful for my wife cooking our family great meals every night? Or I'm grateful that the kids have a warm place to sleep? Or even I'm grateful for my neighbor popping over every week for a coffee and a chat. We often accept these things automatically. And when this happens, we lose touch of the gratitude. Now, some people practice gratitude all the time. They do it for years and years. but I'd say the majority of us don't do this. And if we do it when it's needed. Either way is okay because practicing gratitude is a tool. It can be used every day to keep things in check, or it can be used only when it's needed. My entry into practicing gratitude was when I experienced burnout in 2020. My mind was down in the dumps, and I was looking for ways to improve my mindset. I was seeing a mental health social worker at the time, and they recommended a gratitude journal. Now, at first, I was like, yeah, right, that sounds wanky. But then I reflected on my state of mind, and I was actually open to anything that could help me in my recovery. So I gave it a go. I started with thinking of three things each day that I was grateful for. Family was often in the three, and sometimes it made up all three. It could be the love I felt for my wife or the happiness that my kids brought me. If I had a really good day, it might be the thing that made it good. Or if I ticked off a big ticket to do task like cleaning up the yard, that would also get a listing. But what I found quickly was that I started recycling the same things every single day. I started off as this well intentioned attempt to tune into myself, ended up feeling like a chore. And this was partly because I was stuck on what to feel grateful for, and I was writing them down in a diary. As I flicked through the pages, I felt like I was failing at practicing gratitude. So, naturally, I gave it up. I didn't touch it again until recently when I started seeing a new psychologist. For anyone following me on my Instagram account, lately you'll see that I've been struggling. And I'm okay because I know in times like this, I need to pick up all of my tools and walk my recovery path. I was talking with my new psychologist about how I see the negative in the world. For me, the glass is always half empty rather than half full. So, like most mental health practitioners, he recommended practicing gratitude. And when he mentioned this, I told him flat out that I had struggled with this in the past. I let him know that the last time I did it, I was recycling the same things over and over. And so he framed it like this: these things that I was recycling, like love or family, they're a constant. They will always be there. So he asked me about other things in my everyday life that I could be grateful for. I couldn't respond, so he painted me a mental picture. He described a work or school diary with each hour of the day listed down the side. My task was to list down all the things I did each hour. So take a work day, for example, and this could look like me waking up at 6 a.m. and having breakfast, showering, and getting my daughter ready for childcare. From 7 a.m. to 8 a.m., I'm doing the drop off to childcare, then stopping to grab a coffee on my way to work and getting into my workday. From 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., I might be in a meeting where I learn something new or engage in some technical discussions with my team. This could be followed by client calls and emails from 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. And from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. could be lunch, followed by coaching a colleague for the rest of the afternoon. From 4 p.m. to 5 p.m., it's coming home, grabbing the kids from school and childcare, and settling in for dinner. And then from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., it's that nighttime routine with the kids, so it's bath and bed for them. From 7 p.m. to 8 p.m., it's working on Mindful Men, followed by some TV time between 8 p.m. and 9 p.m., then it's off to sleep. Now, when you look at this day, it looks like any average work day. Nothing really special jumps out at you. At least it doesn't when we're in that automatic daily life mode. But when we're practicing gratitude, recording our day this way can help us see that the everyday things that we do, we can be grateful for them because they give us joy and we appreciate them. For example, I love coffee. So getting a morning coffee either on my way to work or at morning tea time is a great thing. This is because it gives me time out for myself. It peps me up. And if I go with someone else, it's a time to connect with my colleague. Or take the morning meeting. Maybe I added some technical expertise to help my team resolve a complex issue. I'm grateful for having that knowledge and also having the confidence to share it. Another example is coaching the colleague in the afternoon. I'm grateful for management seeing my leadership and training qualities and giving me the opportunity to develop a colleague's work capacity. This also gives me an opportunity to build a good working relationship with this person and have a positive influence in their work development. Then in the evening, I could be grateful for that amazing dinner my wife cooked. or the fact that the kids went to sleep relatively easy that night. It's these moments in our day that give us joy. And when we tune into these moments, we feel grateful for them. They highlight what is important to us, and they help us to find the joy in what seems like a small everyday thing, like that morning coffee or that delicious family meal. And this process is the breakthrough. By breaking down my day into small chunks, it's easier to spot what I'm grateful for. And when I see these moments of gratitude, I feel better about myself. I start to see how the glass can be half full. I reflect on these events and I seek them out more. I come out of autopilot and step into life. So, if this is exciting you, or you've tried before and you need a bit of help pushing to the next level, here's my 5 tips to practice gratitude. Tip number 1, make a note. When I first started practicing gratitude, I felt like I needed a diary. So I bought one with space to record my 3 things that I was grateful for each day. But every time I looked at it, it felt like homework, and that's why I stopped. This time around, I've pulled out the diary again. But rather than write 3 things off the top of my head, I used the times on the side of the page to record the events of my day. And then once I finished, I circled the highlights of the day and the things that I was grateful for. And then over time, the book started feeling like homework again. So I started visualizing the diary on my drive home or when I was out for a walk or even sitting on the couch. Here, I would make mental notes of the different times of day and the things that I did and the grateful moments of that day. And this helped immensely as the feeling of homework turned into a feeling of mindfulness. Thinking about something is much quicker than writing it down. So I didn't feel like it was taking a huge chunk out of my day to write about my day. And over time, I've now started making mental notes of things that I'm grateful for as they happen. For example, this week, I made a mental note of how I supported a client with an issue. This happened just after I clicked send on the email that I sent them. It was quick, instant, and powerful. And it turned a stressful morning into one where I felt like I had made a positive difference to someone's life. And I was grateful for being in that position. So, tip 1 is to make a note. Some people like writing, others like reflecting in thought. Some people do this creatively through art, poetry, music, and dance, or as they do their hobbies like building Lego, woodwork, or even gardening. Some do it whilst they're at the gym or on a run or sunbaking at the beach. Do what works for you. And if one option starts to feel like homework, switch it up. Tip 2, keep it simple. Practicing gratitude doesn't have to be complex. You don't need a fancy diary or dedicated meditation space with incense and music just to get you into a Zen-like moment of self-reflection. With most things in life, it's best to keep things simple. You can use a notepad that has your shopping list next to it. You can use the back of your hand. You can use just your thoughts. But remember, the aim is to find everyday things that you want to seek more of, like that morning cup of coffee, or that chat with a colleague at morning tea, or doing your best to help with a client, or reading a book instead of watching mindless TV shows. Think about easy things like the love you have for your family, or the good friends that you have, or that warm blanket you sit under on the couch before bed. It doesn't have to be grand. It doesn't have to be super insightful. You don't need to get philosophical, just real and simple. Tip 3, start big. This is helpful if you're new to practicing gratitude and you're not quite ready to look at your day with a microscope. It's okay to think of the big things in your life and feel grateful for them. That's how I started. Family and friends often rank high. It could be your job or the school you go to. It could be where you live. It could be the supports that you have around you when things get tough. It could be your love for footy and your ability to go watch a game. These are big things that you can easily think about. They give you joy and the feelings of appreciation. And they're simple. They don't take much effort to think about. They pop up pretty quickly, so why not make use of them? Tip 4, then go small. Once you start to feel like the things that you're grateful for are being recycled, go small. Think about your day in hourly chunks and take note of the small things that pop out, like that morning cup of coffee, like that lunchtime walk you take down to the park, or that amazing smell that drifts out of your favorite restaurant as you walk past it to your car, or that feeling of new undies or socks as you pull them on, or the smile that your kids have when you wink at them, or the laughter that they bellow out when you pop a fart. Now, you don't have to use all your small moments on the same day either. If you have a day full of gratitude gems, save one for tomorrow. It's okay to be grateful for things that happened yesterday, or last week, or last year, or even last decade. You might even be grateful for something that's coming up, like a job interview, or starting a new hobby, or a new course, or a party or camping trip. It can even be something so simple as heading to Bunnings on the weekend to grab some gear to build a cubby house for the kids, or grab some plants to fill your veggie patch with. Tip 5, look inwards and outwards. In all the examples I've given so far, they're mostly about how we feel in the moment. It's about the impacts of this person or that thing and how they make us feel. These are inward reflections, and they're great to a certain extent. They allow us to look inside and see what makes us tick. And once we find these things, we seek them out more. But to take your practice of gratitude to another level, try looking outwards. Take nature, for example. Nature is great for a number of reasons. First, it's beautiful. It looks amazing in different times of the day and seasons of the year. Second, it connects with our senses: sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. Third, it serves a purpose. It gives us oxygen, food, water, habitats, and life. And it grounds us by enabling us to tap into any of these aspects. But beyond how it makes us feel, we can appreciate the role that it does for Earth. We can be grateful that it gives us all air to breathe. We can be grateful that our food comes from nature. We can appreciate how the seasons change and the life cycle of plants through these seasons change as well. We can appreciate how water gives life, not only to us, but to animals and plants. And we can even appreciate how, after a disaster like a bushfire, that nature regenerates with new growth. These types of reflections push our gratitude outwards. Sure, they make us feel good, and I guess there's a little bit of inwards reflection here too, but they also help us to zoom out from ourselves and position ourselves within a broader context. And it's not just nature that can do this. It could be anything where your existence is part of something bigger. Culture comes to mind, or religion, and even identity. It could be something to do with philosophy or social theory. Whatever it is, outwards reflections can help push our gratitude practice to the next level. So there you go, 5 tips to practicing gratitude. And if you're still on the fence and looking for one last reason to give it a go, ask yourself this: why not? Why not try it to see if it works for you? Why not see if it's the type of tool that could come in handy when you're struggling? Why not look inwards and outwards? Why not appreciate the big and small things in your life that give you joy? Why not break the cycle of negativity? Why not break the cycle of negativity that has strangled us since COVID began and switch it up with some positive mindset? Why not reflect and grow? Why wouldn't you want to be more mindful of who you are and what you can do to be a better version of yourself? And after you've asked yourself these types of questions, acknowledge that you're worthy of happiness. Acknowledge that you're worthy of possessing a tool that can help you feel good after a tough day. And who doesn't want to feel good? Now, before I go, I note that practicing gratitude isn't for everyone, and that's okay. Just do what works for you. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Simon Rennie, and until next time, stay mindful. If you enjoyed today's episode, make sure that you like it and leave a comment, and then share it with your mates. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss a moment of future episodes to come.